Welcome everybody back to the Burning Barrel Podcast. Internet is back, so are we. My name is Paul and with me is Hank.
Yo!
Hey, we missed last week. That was all my fault because my internet decided to die. And a little part of my soul along with it for about 8 days. And then I got it all back at one time and it was overwhelming. It was too much. I couldn't handle it. There were so many game updates. If you I know that, usually I leave Steam on, overnight or something, or while I go to work at least, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So anytime I want to play a video game, it is ready to go. If you leave Steam offline for 8 days, you come back to about 20 gigs worth of shit to download.
Jeez.
For all the different games. That is assuming you have more than, 1 or 2 games installed, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was my day, Friday, basically, is downloading all of those, updating. Blizzard's downloader is still the worst, though, because for some reason it, caps off. I think it's the peer-to-peer stuff, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
So, because it's using peers, I gotta turn that off, because, it'll find a peer that just has a shitty uplink or something, so then I'm screwed. So I gotta fix that, but... What have you been doing this last week? How's it been on the internet, on the other side?
It's been pretty good. I've been playing a lot of video games.
I can actually see a list of them right here.
Yes, it's true.
Magic. Oh, that was another thing, is that when you don't have internet, you don't have Google Drive anymore, and I actually have some documents I need to access every now and then on my Google Drive, so that was bad. But luckily I have a phone so that was fine eventually, but you can't edit with the phone very, very well. Excuse me, I'm dying apparently. Let's just jump right in and talk video games then. Let's talk Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yep, that's a video game.
So you
finished
a video
game? Yes, I did finish it.
I did as well.
That story is bad.
That's bad. I felt for the story of the owl through just, one scene with their animation actually being good for it. Of, you can tell that, this is shitty. And there was no dialogue or no, exposition or anything. It was just, a flashback to what happened. That's what they needed to do throughout that whole game to make me care about that story at all, instead of giving me a 15-minute long piece of shit thing where they just explain all the exposition basically at the beginning, except for you don't know what's happening, and then they kind of explain at the end that everything's going to be okay.
They make everything a little too okay.
Yeah, they do.
That owl almost killed everything. You're like, oh, it's okay. It was just, afraid for its children, which then it also killed some of, I guess.
But that owl was angry, and that is an emotion I understand well. So I was behind the owl.
But what? So really, my problem with it, as far as the story for this particular video game, is it made it so your primary antagonist you didn't hate, so you don't get that final boss fight. I wanted a final boss fight, too, kind of, from gameplay side.
I didn't really. I didn't want a boss fight. I like what they gave you. We can get more into depth about that, because I have opinions about that, why that part is really good. But what made you want, a fight with the owl, I'm guessing, specifically?
I just wanted another sequence that used some of the platforming stuff in, a space... interestingly, instead of because it kept doing the you're running away from something, and it did that well.
It did,
but I just wanted that one cap off sequence where you get to put all your powers to use in one space in an interesting way that was mechanically interesting. Just sort of at the end of the game, I just sort of wanted that, and I wanted the catharsis of beating an enemy, because really it's what I don't like about the ending also is that it's not that game. The way the mechanics work, it's all powering you up, and you're becoming stronger. But with the story, you're still supposed to look at this rabbit. The rabbit thing is sort of weak and something you want to protect, the way love conquers all at the end, kind of thing. I don't think it matches with the kind of gameplay they had.
See, what I liked is that owl was scary at the beginning because you're so much like you're not powered up yet. But even at the end, it's still a giant fucking owl that can fly and kill you. So I kind of didn't want to just fight an owl. Like, maybe if they had added something at the end where you, like, fight a spirit or something, or just do something weird. Like, maybe the catharsis would be nice, but what I liked about...
an evil spirit possessing the owl or something that you fight.
Sure. What I liked about it, though, like the end sequence, is that, and I was saying this earlier on Top Down, is that it's the perfect culmination of how video games should end, where everything that you have done throughout the game and gotten good at is thrown at you. You have to use almost every ability you've gotten. And that, like, that last run is very well designed, except for I still feel there was a weird issue with the timing of some things, specifically rocks falling, where they would, and I was saying this before, I think it's because when you load into that level, it loads the whole level so you can smoothly, like, run through all of it, like the whole however many screens or whatever, instead of taking it time at a time as you're going. And because of that, there's one rock at the very beginning specifically. There's, like, you jump through a thing, and then there's a rock, a platform, and then a rock, and then you keep going. That first rock will always fall basically, say, at, like, 0.5 seconds after you see it or something like that. But because of that, you kind of have to either slow yourself down to let it pass and then go, or try to be way fast and get in before it. Like, I don't know. It's weird because it's hard to get in through there before it falls. So I always ended up waiting just that half second for it to just fall, and then I could keep going. But I felt like I was slowing myself down because it was like at the perfect point in time where I felt really strong with, like, moving through that game. Like, it became just second nature sort of thing to just, like, see every opportunity to dash as much as you could and, like, stomp down really fast down, like, corridors and stuff like that. And that was just like, no, you have to stop for half a second. You're too good, or you have to speed up a little bit. You're too bad. Like, it was a weird timing on it where I felt like if it was timed a little bit differently, it would feel more badass to just keep going. Like, I hated that there were some parts in that final run that because of the timing of the events that happen in it, you have to kind of stop and take a second for something to happen and then continue. I wish it would have just been a fluid thing because I felt like I could have done, like, a fluid motion throughout the whole thing. But
I mean, yeah, that's sort of what I wanted from a final boss fight kind of thing. Is a thing where a sequence where you get to play more at your pace rather than the game dictating the pace.
That's exactly what the problem is. Yeah,
and I wanted that more because I thought that final dungeon was pretty weak compared to the other two.
Yeah,
where you have to, like, go into these doors and then, like, you're just so much of it is empty. That dungeon was
basically like at the end of Super Mario World, where you go into Bowser's Castle and there's just, like, a bunch of doors and then, like, a room of stuff, and then you leave that and go to the next room. It was kind of like that instead of, like, a giant area like the tree was, where it all intertwined with each other. And then, like, you did a thing which caused an event which had caused you to, like, beat the level. It was very much like do the lava level, now do the jumping level. Now, like, it was weird. I didn't like how they did that either.
Yeah, it was all broken up.
Weird, it was
gated. Like, yeah, and it was a disappointment compared to the other two dungeons, which were both really cool. Like, I really like that second one where it's just fucking with you and keeps changing.
Yeah, that was really well. There's a weird thing with Ori where there's a lot of puzzle, like, rooms or places that are really well thought out with the level design, and some that are just basic ass bitch things, like, that are just annoying to do. Like, it's kind of annoying because if it was all just, like, dodge the spikes or, like, go through the spike levels by jumping and bashing and stuff, then I wouldn't care as much because it would just be kind of like, okay, this is, like, the bar they set that they can do. But they've shown in that game that they actually have some really thought-provoking good puzzling. So when they didn't do that for the final level, it sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, it dragged. But overall, I really like that game.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Despite all that, it plays really well.
Yeah, it really does. So on top down, John was having problems with it, and he said he didn't like Ori at all. I actually went to his house, and I was just like, "You're gonna play Ori," and we did for a bit. I can see what his problem was. I just want to say I was playing it on Steam, like on PC, and the only times I had hitching up with it are when I was trying to stream it at 720 60 frames because there was other stuff going on. So it's understandable, and even then it wasn't so bad. His hitched a lot. Like, there was a lot of spots where he would be saying a jump, and then at the very end of that jump, he was trying to, like, crawl up a wall or something, right? Or jump up a wall. It would hitch right before he hit the wall, so when he landed, he couldn't, like, there wasn't a grip on it, so he just fell down. And it was because that game wants to do a lot of video stuff in the background to save, like, stuff, video clips in the game, and it's fucking irritating. It felt really shitty. But on the flip side of that, in parts where it was just environment, like specifically the water parts where you're underwater or like there's water and then like a really nice background with sun and green grass and stuff, that part was done really nice at like the full 60 frames per second and everything. So that game has some weird issues on Xbox that I was not expecting, considering Xbox is pushing it pretty hard on their thing.
Microsoft published it.
Yeah.
Paid for by Microsoft. Game would not exist if Microsoft hadn't paid for it.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's really weird. So I just want to say I didn't run into the problems he did, and I could see how that would actually ruin your experience a little bit.
Like, for sure.
Because it's all about, even the times it would hitch up when I was trying to do stuff, that's actually why I stopped trying to stream it or do anything in the background, is because I wanted it at its full potential, and when I got that, it was a great experience. It's really smooth, and the mechanics feel really, really good. So, I don't know. I think that's totally worth the money, and I'm annoyed that I know there's a spot where they say, we might not be able to come back, but I'm annoyed that after you finish the game, you cannot even go into that file again.
Like, yeah, that's really dumb for a Metroidvania game. Luckily they let you, if you do realize it's coming, they do let you copy your save files.
Yeah.
So, which I actually did because I had gotten a heads up that was coming.
Yeah, I didn't, and I got fucked. But
yeah,
you
can't do anything with that file.
I got like 99% too. That's why it's the most annoying, because if as Sean put it, if I was only like at 60% and that happened, who cares? I'll play through it again sometime and I'll get everything done for completionist's sake if I want to. But I was so close. I was missing like 2 orbs in that whole game, and I was just like, I'll come back for them later. Nope.
Yeah,
no, you're not.
No.
Yeah, so
hopefully they'll, like, potentially they could patch it to let you go back at some point. You still have that save file. That would be cool if they would do that, but
I hope so.
Because I know games have done stuff like that where they've patched in letting you go back, but who knows if that'll actually happen.
And you know the annoying thing is, I know why you can't go back, and it's because they actually care about their story, and it would make no sense to go back.
Yeah, that's what part of my thing. Their story is bad for this game. It doesn't work with the kind of game that they were. It hinders the game in a bunch of ways.
Yeah, it does. Oh well. What can you do, I guess? So, yeah, that's Ori and the Blind Forest, available now if on your Xbox One, if you want it. But don't
Xbone.
Don't do that. Don't get it on that. Get it on PC. I've talked, I feel like, a lot about Hotline Miami 2, so I don't think I have anything more I need to say about it. It's on this list because I thought we were going to do this last week before Top Down. But that didn't happen, and then I said a shitload about it on Top Down, and I talked a little bit about it before. My opinion hasn't changed on that.
Do you have a favorite song in it?
Yeah, actually. I'm just trying to remember where it plays now. I think it's in the subway system when you're the reporter trying to go to the one prisoner killer guy who was sent to jail's house to talk to his mom. It's really great. I don't know what the song name is, but it's fantastic.
I was listening to that soundtrack
It's really good. The
'cause I
soundtrack is
feel like
way better than the first.
I feel like that's what's worth spending time with.
It is. So, that story does get batshit insane, and then it ends right after it gets batshit insane. So the thing I was waiting for happened, and then it ended, so I was okay with that. I was like, okay, I'm done now. So, but yeah, I have nothing else to say about that. What the hell is Yoot Tower?
So, did you ever play Sim Tower?
No.
So that's an old Maxis published game,
Okay.
but about basically just you making a tower. It's like Sim is a tower. So there's a sequel. The developer made a sequel to it called Yoot Tower. It's not published by Maxis, but it's looks exactly the same almost.
Okay.
But they broke it.
So what is it you build? I'm guessing you build floors or something. Is it like Tiny Tower?
Kind of, except
Okay.
not about time. It's not about time management in the same way because it's not a free to play game. It's an actual video game.
Right. Okay.
It came out in like the original Sim Tower came out in '94.
Okay.
So I can't even run it on my computer anymore because it was made for like Windows 3.1
Oh man.
and even the later versions of it don't work anymore. But Yoot Tower worked on my computer, and Yoot Tower was like 4 years later. It came out in like '98, and it still looks like the same game. Kind of weird.
Huh.
Also, they tried to make a shift in what they were focusing on to people and like where they were going, whereas the original game just focused on building your buildings, what was around them, so that like for noise stuff to make your money. But when they made it, so what the game wants you to do here is like force people to go to restaurants.
Okay.
Like it wants you to funnel the people in your tower, and I had no fun with it. Like it breaks the game for the way I wanted to play it. It's like I would do the things I used to do in the old game, and I just would get no money.
Huh.
So it was kind of a miserable time.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
No, it's bad.
Okay.
Also, it has sound effects that are. It's really annoying. You have to mute. I had to mute it.
So can you like buy this now, or did you just
It's
find like
abandonware.
Okay, so it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can find it, so like you have to Google it to find it and then download it.
Yeah. Yeah. I did that.
Okay. Is it worth my time? My
No.
time's valuable, so
No. Original Sim Tower is fun
okay.
if you can get that to work, but this is no.
Okay.
I also learned that they made versions of this game for like the DS and the Game Boy Advance that only came out in Japan. Which is weird.
See, I would be more interested in importing and trying those.
I'd be more interested until I played this one and the mechanics didn't work the way they used to. And it was no fun anymore.
Great. Yeah.
It still looked the same. It was just weird. It's a lot of dealing with people using elevators.
Well, that's a disappointment. No more to say about that one.
Nah, that's all I had to say about that one.
Fair enough.
That was disappointing.
Yeah.
That goes in the barrel.
Yeah. Oh, right. Hotline Miami 2 is teetering on the barrel, or it's in there, but there's no fire lit yet. I can't decide. And Ori is not anywhere near a barrel.
No. Pull out that soundtrack for Hotline Miami too, though.
Yeah, that soundtrack is, like I said, I really, really love the soundtrack for the first game. This is way better. So, that's a great thing. Speaking of barrels, you play Tekken? I don't know how that relates.
So there was a sale on the PlayStation Store.
Mm-hmm.
So in one of the games there was, I was looking for stuff for my Vita, and there was like Tekken 2 was $1. So I picked up Tekken 2 for my Vita and played that. It's like, this is not. I love this game, but this is not the way to play this game. I should just play my copy of the original. So I ended up playing Tekken 2 on my PlayStation copy of it. Then I played Tekken 3. Then I decided I'm going to play through every Tekken game I own which is 2, 3, Tag, Tekken 5, Tekken 6,
Wait,
and Tekken
no
Tag
Dark
Generation.
Resurrection?
No, I don't have Resurrection.
Okay.
And I don't have Tekken 4 because I rented that one,
What about
unlocked all the
Tekken 1?
characters. Tekken 1 I also don't have. I never
Okay.
really played Tekken 1. What I've played of Tekken 1, it's too early. That one is really hard to go back to.
Yeah, that's like Virtua Fighter games style. Like it's old feeling.
Yeah. And Tekken 2 is like right at the edge where it always felt sort of old to me compared to Tekken 3, but it's like matches are quick enough. They have enough of a pace that it's still really good. Like the thing going back to Tekken 2 and 3 that really stands out to me is really quick load times for PlayStation games.
Mhm.
Everything happens really fast. Also the matches are really quick. Like they're quicker than they got later. Like your health hits do way more damage in those older games.
Mhm.
Just the fights are much quicker. And there are less moves to do, I guess. So it kind of makes sense.
Tekken 3 was our jam. My introduction to the series was 2, but 3 was the one that my friend had, so we would play that all the time.
Yeah, Tekken 2 I played originally in an arcade, and then Tekken 3 is what I bought a PlayStation for.
Mm-hmm. It was really good, like really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was not disappointed owning that. Just playing the game for those cutscenes at the end when you would win.
So good. Who was your character?
Law. I
Oh,
love those spin
that's kinda
kicks.
that's
But I
kinda
also
cheap.
loved Gon.
Okay.
Gon
Okay.
was hilarious.
Yeah.
Also, his end. I love that when you got his ending, it looped forever until you stopped it. It would just keep playing. But I really like Jack. I really like Brian Fury, Yoshimitsu.
Yoshimitsu's
I mean,
great.
I love Kuma. I love a lot of characters in that game.
Mokujin.
I mean, Mokujin is just like your random stand-in.
Yeah. What a dumb idea. There's so many dumb ideas in that game, but I love that they went for them.
Yes, I love how they can just stick anything in a Tekken game and it just works.
Yeah.
And I also like that it's a fighting game that's not based on projectiles.
Yeah.
Because projectiles have sort of dominated so many other fighting games, and that just at least there's this one where there are projectiles, but you can dodge so well that you can work around them for the most part, and they're pretty limited. It's mostly about actual hand-to-hand combat.
I always went with my namesake. Paul Phoenix.
All Phoenix is pretty good.
Those
Pretty good
punches.
punch.
Yeah.
That one punch
Yeah.
does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Does a lot of damage.
So are those games still playable then?
Those games are still really good. Tekken
Oh.
3 is still really good.
Mm-hmm.
Tekken 2 always felt a little old after you've played Tekken 3,
Mm-hmm.
but it's quick enough that it's still pretty good. Tekken 3 is still great. Still great.
The best is stabbing yourself with Yoshimitsu and hitting your opponent through your back.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty, and it does so much damage. It's
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah. It's hard to hit
Like,
with, though,
yeah.
obviously.
The weird thing is, like, I feel like those games haven't. The problem with the new games is they haven't changed since Tekken 6. Like, they're using the same menus since Tekken 5. Tekken 5. Like, the Tekken 6 uses the same menus and stuff. Like, every Tekken, they haven't changed. And they're using, like, the same animations. They've been using them game over game. When those first Tekken games were such amazing step forwards every time. From 2 from 1 and 3 from 2. Like, it's kind of depressing looking at the newer ones. Like, they stopped evolving in the same rate which they were, which was part of what made them so amazing. Also, the Tekken games were like the first games where it's like, this fighting game is better on a console than it is in the arcade.
Yeah, it felt really good on console. Boy, those
Like
are good games.
Yeah, they're not that fun online though. When you're playing against people who are really good at them, they become less fun. They're much more fun when you're playing against people who are at your skill level.
I would
like
say that's
buddies.
true about every video game.
Well, no,
Playing Dota against a higher MMR is terrible.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, just like the skill level you meet when you just jump into them online.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you're just jumping into an online game, like the skill level you need. Like that's why I've more moved to Street Fighter being a game I like more.
Mm-hmm. Because matchmaking's way better.
And just like hammering away at Street Fighter or Third Strike, I got good enough where I was like jumping into games and being able to win. And it was just more satisfying once I got to a certain point.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, those old PlayStation Tekken games, those are good games. Those are good games.
They are. Yeah, I agree. So baseball, huh?
Out of the Park Baseball 16.
All right.
Baseball management sim. Down to all the excruciating details where you get to hire hitting coaches for your minor league teams. Oh my God. I spent like 3.5 hours in this game and I've got through like 5 actual baseball games.
Wow.
Just fiddling with stuff. It's basically because I have no one to play fantasy baseball with this year. So this is like where I'm getting some of that noodling out with roster stuff out of my system.
Are you as into baseball as you are basketball?
I'm not as into baseball as I am basketball. I'm mostly just watch the Mets, whereas basketball, I kind of follow the whole league. But like I can't name that many players outside of the ones who are on the team that I root for.
I can't name a single baseball team.
Fair enough.
I think the Cardinals is one.
Yes, that is a baseball team.
Cool.
You named a baseball team.
I don't know where they're based out of, though.
St. Louis.
Oh, man, I would have guessed that, too. But I felt like, no, there's no way. Damn, okay. I'm getting there. I'm almost a guru for baseball.
Also, it's sort of weird that to get the... I guess they didn't have the license for the players' pictures because you have to like put in player pictures yourself. And they're like
from
guides.
The internet?
Yeah, they're like guides in their forums. People saying, here's a pack of all the photos you have to put into this folder, and then the game will automatically import them if you tell it to.
There's something kind of great about that. I kind of like that. That's weird.
Yeah. And also like so it simulates both GMing and coaching. So during the game you can tell people swing away or you should pitch take a ball here. Or you should bunt or you should do a hit and run. Or you're just getting like text of what's happening. It's yeah. It's a sim. It's a very in-depth simulator of baseball.
All right. Cool. So, Life is Strange. You played, yes. I'm guessing, episode 1 and 2.
Yes.
How in-depth do we get about this? Because I kind of want people to do the story themselves. Because there's some stuff we could probably spoil and just be like, oh, that's shitty. Now that I know that's happening, I can make sure I get the thing I want, specifically at the end of 2.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and say stuff in episode 1 might be on the table. That's probably fine because that's all world building stuff anyways. It doesn't really end with a cliffhanger. Like the cliffhanger, like spoiler alert, yeah. I guess. Cliffhanger at the end of episode 1.
Spoiler alert, she can travel back in time a little bit.
Well, I mean, the spoiler for 1 that it ends off in is that her friend finds out that she has this power, basically.
Yeah.
That's it.
I guess.
So yay, whatever. What do you think? I'd like to hear your opinions on it.
I really like it.
Yeah. That's the right answer.
Like the character interaction stuff is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how I like that the decision that comes at the end of 2.
Oh man. It's annoying because that's what I want to talk about, but it's like, yeah.
But what I appreciate is the work you do for it it's not just you make choices here. Like it's determined partially by what you've already done. Like the way it's
Yes.
building up. It's not doing like too much in Telltale's games. It feels like whatever you've done doesn't matter once they get to a big decision. You'll just have the big decision in front of you to make.
Yes.
Whereas here, it really feels like even over just 2 episodes, the things you're doing are building and will matter once you're trying to get something to talk to someone through something or whatever.
Yeah.
Like whatever, like your consequences feel like they do have consequences because it feels like the game is taking note of what you're doing and then sort of adding them up at an end for a bigger decision point.
So here's a question for you, and I'll ask it the same way we did before. So people know kind of what might happen, but it doesn't spoil anything. Did the person live?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You're the first person I've talked to about this that also lived.
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk about that offline or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. But
I also like I like how small a lot of the stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
That like
it's real world.
These
problems.
characters are doing the dumb stuff they would like a teenager would believably be doing if they got this power. I thought the part in episode 2 where you're in a junkyard and you have to find bottles was dumb.
Okay, yes. I mean, I think everybody agrees that it's like that part reminds you, oh, this is still a video game, so they do dumb video game tropes like collect bottles. Like that's literally the thing you do. But
yeah. I mean, I get why they did it. There's stuff.
There's a good payoff as to why you do it, actually.
Yes. There's like a good little thing an area you get to explore, basically. But I wish they'd come up with a little better justification.
Yeah. So the things like I said some stuff that was probably maybe a little weird or cryptic or something on Twitter to anybody who hasn't played the games at all with like why I like it. But basically, like as most people know, for me with video games, there has to be a reason I'm playing a video game sort of thing, which is why mechanics are always kind of the king in my eyes for everything. And then the story is either a hindrance to good mechanics or gameplay or just like the topping to something that already is very good. What I liked about this is that, and like I know it's just kind of being a dead horse because I've said this already a few times to other people, but it's that the game's story is based on your use of the mechanics in a way that I liked how they used it in episode 2. Like that was one of my big gripes with 1, is that the mechanics kind of broke the way those games are, like the narrative driven adventure games, because there was no consequence to any action you had because you could just change it. So what I liked is that, like, for the first game, I found myself rewinding a lot and seeing what the other side is and then making an informed decision about what I wanted, sort of thing. And that felt like it was disingenuous to what people like about these type of adventure games, is that you make a decision and you keep going with it. So with episode 2, I made up my mind that, like, first of all, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time rewinding and listening to 4 different options or whatever. So I'm going to stick with my gut, and it's going to feel more more inclined to what my character would do or what I would do as this character's position or whatever. So I'll feel better about it. And the last part where you almost want to be able to rewind to see the other stuff that could possibly happen, you cannot. They take that away from you, and it's so perfect. It's so perfect how they do that. And the only reason that part felt good, I think, is because the whole first episode, you were just kind of screwing around getting used to being able to like see all the different options. So when at the crucial moment they take that away, it showed to me that they actually have a good handle on what they're doing using this gameplay mechanic with their story and how to drive it and how to make you feel like you're either able to do whatever you want or they take that away from you whenever they want for their story, and it feels more impactful that way. So more like I thought episode 2 was super important to show me that they are putting thought into this, and it's not just a weird little gimmick that they introduced in the first one, like I felt it might be. So I'm super stoked about what they do with it. They could totally still fuck it up because it is Square Enix, but they could also do it quite well. So,
yeah. I actually think that the time travel thing works really well for storytelling video games because it sort of takes into the because save scumming is already a thing players will do when faced with choices and multiple paths. I feel like it's a way to bring that into the game and allow players to sort of play the game to like have it open to them, that they don't feel like they're missing out on content and they know what's there. Pulling it away, great. That is genius. That is fantastic.
And the way they do it without getting specific is the perfect way to do it.
There's a good justification for it.
I mean,
it works really well.
Should I just say why it's so not what happens at that part, but like, so in episode 2, Max finds out that she can't maybe always use this power like at whenever she wants. Like
she's been using it more and more, and it's
taking a toll on her.
Pushing her limits, and she like passes out at one point.
Yeah.
She's getting little nosebleeds.
It's taking a toll on her. And there was one point where she has to do something to try to help somebody, where she literally uses it to stop fucking time. And you're just like, this is so good. That whole part where you're walking through the crowd and like she's just holding her hand out, like stopping time and just like struggling. It actually felt like a struggle. Like you start moving slower, and just even walking past people is annoying. It's like, no, I just got to get there because she's going to probably pass out or something dumb. So
they made a thing I hate, which is when the game makes you walk really slowly, but they contextualized it well enough that it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
they
did
it right.
I think that's what this game is. This game is literally the like everything I don't like about video games, they are doing it in a context that makes me love this premise. So I'm super stoked about it. Nathan Prescott and his whole bloodline need to be extinguished as soon as possible. They are fucking trash. I hate them.
Being horrible.
The fact that the father actually just like threatens you in a text message or harasses you, it just adds to the like creep factor of how douchey this whole family is.
Yeah. I wish the character animations were better sometimes.
It has the Telltale problem with character animations.
It's a little worse than Telltale sometimes. The principal is real bad. He's real bad. His animations.
His chin, when he turns his head, seems to go in his neck all the time. And it's weird.
Yeah.
Another thing I liked about it is that the first episode felt very much, well, as it should, because it's the intro to this whole thing, very much about Max, her place in this world, and her, like, just building her up a little bit, and then just, like, introducing the players in this environment that you're going to be interacting with at some point. Whereas this one started to bring out character in more of them. Specifically for me, David Madsen was more than just, like, the douchey, like, he's still a douche, but he turned out to be more than just, like, the douchey stepfather who is being too hard on, like, his stepdaughter or whatever, and he became, like, a human being. I mean, it was at the end of the episode, but he still became a human being, kind of, showing some emotion. Like, the facade of being the tough guy or whatever starts to crack a little bit, so that's kind of cool. The way they handled Kate was perfect, because in the first episode you could tell that there was like something up with her, but they didn't kind of push it, and they gradually took her up to the point where she leaves off at the end of this episode. And I think that's important, instead of like her going from, oh, that's Kate Marsh, whatever, and then you never talk to her again, and then like at the end or whatever you see her again and you're just like, oh, she's doing this now or whatever. Like that would have taken away from that character so much if they had just done that and they hadn't like gradually done what they did.
I also like that they showed build up from one episode to the next episode and paid it and had a satisfying payoff for story wise. They weren't like, they're not drawing things out over the whole season. There's more that they have to build up to. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I'm getting enough out of each episode, with particularly with what the second one delivered.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the only reason I hadn't played episode 1 yet is cuz I've sort of been nervous about jumping into another episodic game, because the Wolf Among Us, Telltale's Wolf Among Us, I think was really good as a complete thing, but it really was hampered by how much they released it, and that each release didn't quite feel like enough. But at the end of the
feel
day,
that
I
way
liked it.
with this, but that's because I want more. It's not because I feel like I'm left wanting. Like I just
Yeah,
want
exactly.
more of it. Yeah. Also, the gimmick in this game, like I said in the first one, you're kind of playing around with it and getting used to it, and it's very much a conversational thing in the first game. In this, they kind of make it a real life, and there's consequences to like what you're doing, or like traveling back in time and stuff like that. They make it more real worldy with like Chloe and the gun specifically.
Yeah.
And like I think that's what I liked about it, is that they took it from just like, this is a gimmick that you can see what the different narration paths is, to this is a thing that like actually affects how you can control this character, or this character can like control this world. And that's super cool too, that they expanded a little more than just dialogue lines with it. Kind of some weird puzzles and problem solving with it, which is nice too.
Yeah. The fact that you can rewind and see sort of a bunch of things in a scene, I think helps them from a development side, like justify putting a little more into the things you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So because everyone will get to see this stuff on one playthrough, rather than like if you're making strict branches that only half your player base is going to see, it's harder to justify putting a lot of work into that.
Yeah.
Like that becomes the issue with making a game like that, where I feel like where the time travel stuff, it just works better for video game storytelling a lot of the time.
It does, yeah. I really like it. I'm I'm really stoked about it. I'm pissed off that we're not getting another one till May.
Yeah, that's annoying. It's a 2-month cycle, but at least hope. I just want them to like put the work into it and make it good.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I
Like
agree.
it's the other part.
All I'm saying is that if Resident Evil Revelations 2 can release an episode every week, which felt really good, because then it's
I know that's like what I want episodic games to release at, but it's like, why are you even making an episodic game at that point?
yeah, because
You're
you
not
obviously
really
made the
doing any
game.
work. Yeah, you already finished it. I mean, but there's a reason TV shows work that way. Like
Yeah.
that's like the amount of pace for like where you can ingest part of a thing and then you're ready for more.
I still think Life is Strange is way more well thought out than a lot of TV shows I've seen. Like
Well,
I can't remember the last time I've watched a TV show where I legitimately wanted to see the next episode like the next week. It's always been kind of like, yeah, I'm cool now. Unless I'm binge watching.
there's a lot of TV.
There's a lot of TV. There's a lot of it.
There's a lot. Most of it is terrible.
Like I thought I was really into Telltale's Walking Dead, like their first game that they did.
Yeah.
And like I was looking forward to new episodes of that, but this is way different than that. Like I actually really want to see how this story ends, whereas Telltale was kind of like, yeah, this will be a cute thing I can play in a month or something. Where this is like, I need to know how this character finishes whatever story. Like, I need to know what the fuck's happening. I need to know what's with this deer. I need to know what's with Rachel. Oh, dude, I need to know what's with Rachel. I need to know what's with this storm. I need to know what's going to happen with that piece of shit Frank or whatever dude you meet in the junkyard. Like, I need to know.
They've built up way more than The Walking Dead ever built up. Like, The Walking Dead, it's sort of hampered by what that content is. It's you're waiting for the next person to die, basically.
Like, how are they going to survive, basically?
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Whereas this is like, there's a mystery going. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick gripe here.
Yeah.
I remember when the first one came out, I was saying how this has such a crazy, like, cool Twin Peaks vibe, but like a tween CW Twin Peaks vibe or something.
And this is way better than any tween CW shit.
It ends like every CW thing ever, though, with like the montage of the different people, like in their bedrooms or like hanging out or whatever, with the music playing, and then it fades to black.
The game uses music really well.
The game uses music very well until Max tries to play the guitar, and then it's pretty bad. But that's fine.
But I like it's better if you have her CD player playing while you have her play guitar. It works better then.
Yeah. I actually figured that out with this episode, but not the first one. So there's that.
You could do it there too.
But yeah, no, I was saying how like there's this great Twin Peaks vibe going on in it, and there was a bunch of people saying like, "What are you talking about? This is nothing like it." I'm like, "Oh my god, are you fucking serious? There's like a Twin Peaks reference every 10 minutes in this fucking game, first of all. And second of all, this game is about a girl that everybody knew that went missing mysteriously. Like, it is literally the same storyline for one of the points of intrigue of the whole game. So fuck off, first of all." Yeah, I don't know. I was so mad that there's some people that are just like, I don't see it. It's like, well, then you are an idiot, and you need to go watch Firewalk with Me or Twin Peaks series or something. You need to go open a fucking book or something and learn something, because you are an idiot.
Or watch a TV show. Twin Peaks is a TV show, not a book.
No, but like, you need to read a book because you're an idiot. You need to learn something. That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
I just feel like read a book.
You should. Well, you should probably just read a book.
I mean, yeah, I guess books are okay.
They can be. They can be garbage.
A lot of books are garbage. There are a lot of books out there. Most of them are garbage too.
There's a lot of video games out there. Most of them are garbage.
Sure.
A lot of them are garbage. Same with movies.
Yes.
That's why I don't get this, like, well, books are better. It's like, actually, they're about the same. Some are good and some are garbage.
Actually, they're probably more there are more terrible books than any other.
Well, because they've had time to get that way. Give games another 100 years, and they're going to be way more terrible games than a lot of books, probably.
I don't know. There are new terrible books coming out all the time.
There's indie developers out there who think they know what they're doing releasing games.
There are people who think they can writing all the time.
I don't count those. I only count published books. The thing is, anybody can publish a game now. Whereas
anybody can publish a book, too.
Anyone can, but without a publisher, nobody will read it, so it doesn't count.
I mean, some of that's true with games, too, if you're really scraping the barrel of games. But
oh, man. I'm scraping every barrel. That's what I do. So yeah, Life is Strange is good and everybody should play it.
Yes.
I never thought I would say that about a story-centric game. So. I have no other games to talk. Battlefield Hardline is okay. That is what that campaign is a mix of stupid Bad Boys action writing with good Far Cry stealth gameplay. It's a weird combination.
It's a really weird combination.
It's a really, really, really fucking weird combination. Also, that multiplayer is Battlefield, but with worse maps. So, that's a problem. Like, when you have a Battlefield game and the maps aren't as good as the last one, you should probably just play the last one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I have nothing to say about that except for self-serious Bad Boys writing, which is kind of gross, with decent stealth gameplay for the campaign. Makes a weird but kind of fun combination. Final Fantasy Type 0 HD.
Well, I want to talk about Heroes of Storm.
Oh!
Because I tried that new map and that new character.
Okay, I actually bought the new character right away and played with her for a few rounds. I couldn't get that map in the rotation, though. So,
yeah, I got the map a couple times.
Is it great?
It's pretty good. Because it doesn't have like a monster you take control of that is a lot of fun. But it takes a lot of the same mechanics from the other maps, but mixes them together in a way that feels different and unique.
How so?
Like, so
what is the map? I haven't actually seen like gameplay of it.
The weird I feel like they didn't sell it quite correctly because they talked about it like it's a knife fight, but it doesn't. You just have 3 lanes, but they're really short lanes. Like they're not long, but the map is still pretty high because you have 3 distinct lanes, and you're basically with every wave of minions, there'll be these spider minions that spawn, and when you kill them, they'll drop a little collectible thing, a shard.
So like the skulls in the mine sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you collect those and then you turn them in to 2 turn-in points that are between the lanes in like the center of the map.
Okay.
And once you get 50 of them, you spawn like a bigger spider thing in each lane that will then attack out.
So you're kind of like
mines that way.
So you're kind of trying to spawn like siege tanks or something to push the lane?
Yeah, sort of.
So it's kind of like a tug of war.
Yeah, and what's cool is because the items are always coming from your enemies' like waves.
Yeah.
You want to be always fighting over the lanes. Okay. So even though it's sort of a smaller map, it encourages you to be in all lanes at all times.
So it encourages laning instead of team fighting way more.
Yeah. Yeah, it encourages that.
That's really good that they did that. And I could also see why they released Sylvanas with that, because she's quite good at that.
She's really good at laning.
Yeah, she really is.
You get the upgrade that makes her like Q that you can spam to just damage whatever's near her.
Yeah.
You can get an upgrade that it damages 2 things at once.
Yep.
You can like wipe out a whole wave just by spamming that really quickly near the end of the game. Like, she downs waves really fast.
Like, yeah, she is kind of a game changer. I was playing her in a match where we were kind of losing. We were down 1 level. So, like, it was pretty even. Yeah. And they went into the mines. I stayed up top, and I just pushed a lane all the way to their base. Like, it was stupid.
Yeah. She's really good at pushing, and she's really good at capturing mercenaries, too, because she can incapacitate
I didn't even actually try doing
so when you attack a mercenary...
Yeah.
Once you've attacked it, it gets that stun thing.
Mm-hmm.
So particularly when you're just dealing like with siege, you can fight a siege camp and they can't attack you basically.
Oh wow! Okay.
Like a bruiser camp, there are so many of them they will be able to attack you, but like she can take one of them out basically from the beginning, and you can get an ability to make that last longer, like last an extra second, I think.
I didn't try her second ultimate yet. I've been just rolling with her first because that silence is too good in team fights. Like,
it's really good.
It's too good.
Her thing to possess enemy minions, what's really good about it is that's not a big deal. Like, you take 1 minion at a time. The cooldown is pretty short. It's like 12 seconds or something.
Whoa, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And when you get to level 20 and you upgrade it, you can
take the boss?
No, you can take
Okay.
You can never take the boss. But if the enemy has minions as mercenaries they've gotten on their team, you can possess one of them.
Okay.
You
so
can't
like
possess
the
a
bruisers or the
that,
siege.
Yeah, you can possess one of those units. You can't possess them while they're before anyone's defeated them. Like while they're still neutral,
no,
you can't use
they
it on
have
them.
to be an enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Like, okay, besides that, when would you ever just take like normal minions though? Just to like run them at somebody or something?
You're just helping the push. It's just you give them that more push.
That doesn't seem nearly as good as the other one, like in every circumstance. That seems so situational that could be better.
Yeah. Because I mean it focuses on what Sylvanas is good at, which is pushing. It sort of accentuates that.
Right. So like if you're the only specialist, then like you can let the other people worry about team fighting and you're just going to push this lane all the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I could see that, but I don't agree with it necessarily. Especially since okay, there's another question I have with that actually. If you control a minion and they kill it, do they get the experience for it? Because it is now your minion.
Yep.
That's
because it just turns blue.
Oh, so there's no experience gain for it?
I don't think so.
Okay, that makes way more sense, because I was going to say that is a huge detriment. That's the worst ultimate in the game. Like, if you say you take 5 minions, that is 5 more minions worth of XP that you just gave to the other team. When they push it out, that's really bad. So that can't be. They would have had to have thought of that. That would be really... You are actually helping the team if you're not, like, pushing properly by using that. So...
Yeah.
I don't know. I've also met a lot of bad Sylvanas now.
Oh.
There's a lot of people that just run in and she gets blown up.
I playing it because it stopped me ever having to play with other people playing Sylvanas wrong.
I haven't played with a wrong Sylvanas yet. I've played against ones that just run in and, like, I kill them in 2 hits because it's a Sylvanas. They're fucking squishy. Like, she's squishy, which is probably fine because she's kind of overpowered if she's not being focused at all. Like, she is way too overpowered if she's not being attacked.
Yeah, because you can take out towers so that they can't attack her if she's attacking.
That skill that, like, when you hit a tower, it depletes their ammo is stupid. It's so dumb. I love it. It's so bad.
One of her other abilities I think might be a little more useful at that level, but I don't remember which one it is.
They are. That one's just for the, like, fun factor. I didn't play that in an actual match. I played that, like, in the test like lane, and it's just like you go to their fort or whatever, and it's not shooting you because you took all its ammo. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's cool. I bought the Mecha Tassadar skin because they upgraded it so that when they gave him all new dialogue, so he's unique dialogue. They gave him a unique Archon form. They slightly updated the model because now...
Oh, they did give a unique Archon?
Yes.
Oh.
And now when you mount, you transform into a jet.
Wow.
And you don't have to, you can choose a regular mount to ride, but why would you?
Yeah.
You can turn into a jet. So they updated his model to reflect that. You see, like, the top of the jet is on his back now because he's a transformer.
That's cool.
It's pretty great.
That's cool.
And he has a bunch of unique dialogue now.
Is that one of the 15 ones? Yeah. Like Tychus?
It was stupid that it was 15 before, so they upgraded what it gave you.
Yeah.
Because it used to just be a model.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know it's still the same character, but you're kind of buying another character when you do that. So,
and that's my favorite character to play, so having a different way to play it is just really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Heroes of the Storm continues to impress me. I took a few weeks off of it just completely because I didn't want to burn myself out, and then the internet made me take another week that I wasn't expecting off of it. The week that Sylvanas was released, thank God for that. But every time I go into that game, I'm reminded at why I love Blizzard games. They are just so polished for they just do whatever they are setting out to do so good. That it's
like I've never really had a strong desire to buy items in Dota, but I have a strong desire for skins in Heroes of the Storm, just because of how cool they look, how good that art is, and how much it changes stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure, I agree. Is that it for video games? No, Final Fantasy. So things I didn't play but need to bitch about briefly.
So they this was originally, I guess, a PSP game, but they never brought it over here for the PSP. It was only in Japan. Okay. So they've released it for the PS4 as an HD game.
Okay.
It has the most horrendous motion blur I've seen, ever.
Oh, no.
Like, as soon as you move at all, the entire screen except your character blurs.
That's really bad.
Brutal. I was watching a video of it, and it, made me nauseous, immediately. It made me feel sick for a really while afterwards. Horrible.
Why would they do this?
Because it doesn't look great. When you see the character models, it's a PSP game, an old PSP game that they're trying to sell as a friggin' PS4 game.
If they're gonna do that, they had to rebuild it. like using another engine. That's just the way they had to have gone about it. But instead, it sounds like they tried to mask it and made it look even worse.
Like, yeah, I can't deal. Like, every time you move.
Ugh. Did you buy it?
No.
Okay. So you just like
I don't have
somebody?
a PS4. It was a game I was thinking about as a game. Once I get a PS4, I might want. Nope. Okay. Another one off the list of potential PS4 games I might be interested in.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeesh.
All right. Well, I'll make sure to never buy that, even though I don't have a PS4. So.
And don't watch any video of it.
Oh, you know I'm gonna watch a little bit just to see how bad it is.
Yeah,
but
it's really bad.
Okay.
It's amazingly bad. I can't believe they shipped it like that. Because they only really redid the models on like the main characters, so those models look good, and they didn't redo a lot of the other models, so those models look really bad by comparison.
Oh, gross! What the fuck? What the fuck? They just knew that they didn't have to do anything. They're gonna sell it anyway. So
because they put in that demo for Final Fantasy 15 bundled in with it.
Exactly.
I think there's a Penny Arcade strip. The joke is bought Final Fantasy 15 demo bundled with Final Fantasy Type 0 HD.
I could see it because that's what people wanted. So they got that secondary piece of shit with it, I guess.
That demo looks weird. I don't know what to think about that game.
I'm kind of excited. I'm always a little excited to see what they do with Final Fantasy, and then I'm always let down after 10 hours of it, of the new one. That's the way it goes every time.
Yeah.
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 So what about this 200-minute Pro Dota match?
Yeah. There was a 200-minute Pro Dota match. There's like a 22-minute highlight video on YouTube I watched.
Between
it's
who?
amazing. Cloud9 and SFX, I think, was the other team.
Okay.
It was amazing. It's amazing. The game starts breaking at a certain point. Like, when the game gets too long, like, there are graphical glitches where characters just appear to be on fire for no reason.
Wow. How long did it take for that? Probably like over 2 hours, I would guess.
Like 2.5 hours, maybe. It seemed like.
Yeah, because I know I've seen matches go like to the 1.5 minute mark.
Yeah. This was like 3 hours.
I kind of want to watch that full match.
It's great because the announcers, like, they keep building it up and like the music comes on and they're like, oh, no, wait, no, they're resetting.
Wow.
And they do that like, they're doing that like at the 100-minute mark.
So, Chinese Dota, full effect, I guess.
Like, divine rapiers all over the place because everyone has so much money.
I have to watch this. This will be what I do during my lame break in my shift tomorrow at work.
It's great. Yeah, I haven't watched the full match yet. I need to.
Is it just on Beyond the Summit or whatever? Probably.
I don't know. I watched the YouTube video. It has a link to the Twitch where it is. Maybe it might still be there. It might be gone. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I just know that YouTube video highlight I watched and was like, oh my god, this is like the best thing.
That sounds great. That sounds really good.
That the game starts like glitching up because it's like loading, like it's just gone on too long and it's loading things in memory weird.
Wow.
Visually.
That's
the
really
characters
weird.
are just on fire for no reason.
But they still played fine, right? Like they still moved
played
okay?
fine. It was just all how it looked.
Huh.
It started looking weird in a couple places.
Weird. Huh. All right. I want to check that out now. Cool. Do you want to talk about some movies?
Sure.
I actually have two exact movies I could talk about this week.
Okay, cool.
I'll start with Frank. Have you heard of Frank?
It's not ringing a bell off the top of my head.
It's basically... Hold on, I gotta look up...
I have heard of this movie, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, I have to look up the name of it, of the like actual person it's based on. I can't remember his name. But basically it's a story of a guy who wants to be a musician or whatever, and then stumbles upon this avant-garde, like, weird electro fucking, I don't know, progressive rock band thing. Like, it's a group of weird people, like, very artsy sort of, they do music. And their lead singer is fronted by a guy named Frank, who wears this giant fake head always. Like, Great. He sleeps in it, he showers in it, he never takes it off, nobody knows what he looks like, basically. And yeah, there is a weird, ominous feel throughout that whole movie, even though it's not really, like, a scary movie at all. It's just kind of this, like... Because this dude had, like, a normal life in a cubicle sort of thing, and then he just meets this band that he's never heard of. The way he meets them is that their keyboardist goes running and tries to drown himself in the ocean. So he's on the beach just, like, walking by or whatever, and he sees this guy trying to kill himself, and they pull him out and, like, send him to the hospital, and they basically are like, can you play the keyboard? And he's like, yeah. Or no, he's like, I can play the keyboard. They're like, okay, come here at this time. Then that's where he meets, like, everybody, and they're just, like, they bring him along, basically, after that, and he becomes part of the band. Then you find out some weird shit, like, slowly throughout the movie. Like, their other keyboardist, like, also tried to kill himself, but instead he became their, like, manager. Like, their manager used to be the old keyboardist who's kind of insane. There's a girl played by Maggie Gyllenhaal who does, like, the weird electro sound effects using, like, a theremin, or, like, unplugging and plugging in, like, the knobs or whatever. So there's that, like, sound and shit like that. Like, that's what her contribution to this band is. There's, like, this asshole French guy who plays the bass, this emo, like, asshole French dude who plays the bass, and another girl who just plays the drums or whatever. Like, it's a weird group of misfits, and centered around that is Frank, who nobody knows really anything about him, but he seems like this guru guy who always has an answer for, like, every problem. And yeah, I don't know, it's weird, because there's that part of the movie where he's coming to terms with the people he's with, but then there's also this part of the movie throughout the whole time where he wants to be famous. Like, he wants to get a lot of money doing the band thing, and he thinks that they could be big or whatever, because Frank is actually quite good at writing, like, catchy tunes or whatever, like, doing some cool things. And he's, like, as they're recording this album that he was pulled along to help them record, he's, like, using social media like YouTube and taking video clips of this weird band and, like, little Twitter things and stuff, and they become actually kind of like a cult classic, like, band or whatever. I don't know. It's really, really, really weird. And it's kind of cool, though. There's some weird stuff going in there, but you kind of want to know what's going on the whole time. I think one of the biggest problems with the movie is that they eventually show Frank's face.
Oh.
And that's kind of a letdown in a way, but the reason they do it and what happens after that is kind of, like, heartwarming, so I guess I could see why they did it. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a weird film, but I kind of dug it. There's some cool stuff going on there. And I'm trying to remember who actually plays Frank. Yeah, it's Michael Fassbender who plays Frank. Like, the voice and stuff. So it's pretty weird. It's a weird movie.
He's been in weird movies before.
Yeah. And just straight up bad ones too.
Yeah.
But that's on Netflix. So, like, if you ever just are bored and want a way to spend, I don't know, 90 minutes probably. I can't remember how long it is. It's a decent way to do it, I suppose.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'll talk about The Purge because I'm mad.
All right.
So The Purge is a terrible
warned
movie.
you.
Yeah,
I
you
warned
did,
you.
but I just found out that you haven't even seen it.
It's true.
So what did you warn me about? What did you know that was going to be bad? And I will either confirm or deny if that was a problem with it.
That it was a home invasion movie, basically.
Well, I mean, with the premise of The Purge,
Yeah.
so The Purge, for anybody that doesn't know, is basically America being America decided that we're going to let everybody, like, do their most instinctually, like, grossest behaviors, and one day a year for 12 hours, there's going to be from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next morning, a period of time where you could do whatever the fuck you want. Like, no crimes will be punishable, basically. And this is supposed to make everybody happy because, for one thing, it's going to cull the weak. So, like, the homeless people and people that can't fight back or anything like that, it's going to straight up kill them. Because, like, while the assholes and gross people get away with murder, literally.
Yeah.
And the second thing is that those people can somehow be productive members of society because they were able to let out their inner urges and stuff. Like, it's the stupidest fucking idea, but it's kind of a cool premise for, like, a movie or game or book or something in media. Like a thought piece. And what they did with it was The Strangers, kind of.
Yep.
The way they do it, though, is that... So, the premise of the movie is that this is what's going on in America. It's been going on for a while. This is not a new thing when this movie takes place. This movie takes place in, like, 2022 or something. And this has been happening since, like, the teens, 2000 teens, whenever. I can't remember when. So it's been happening a while. Every year. And this family is super wealthy. And the way they got wealthy is the dude sells security systems, basically for this very thing. Like, really high-end security systems. So him and his wife, like, got a mansion, and they're wealthy because they've been making money off of everybody else being scared all the time during the purges. And they have 2 kids, like, the stereotypical teenage daughter who's with an older boyfriend.
Yeah.
And, the weird outcast kid, the creepy kid, or something. And the purge happens, everything's fine, they're locked down, they're safe, they're just hanging out. Then a dude runs by, a homeless dude runs by, screaming, "Help me, help me." And the kid, for some reason, decides, I'm going to be morally responsible and open the main door. Not even the main door. He takes down the whole computer system, like the whole... He disarms the whole security system for this one dude. And that dude happens to be a guy that, like, was being hunted by a group of psychopaths or whatever. And the rest kind of writes itself.
Yeah.
That kid is a fucking idiot.
Yep.
And it makes no sense as to why this has been going on for years, because I think he's probably like 14, 15-ish. Like, he's mid-teens, maybe a little older even. And he decides that this year I'm going to have a conscience and put my whole family at risk for one dude I don't know, who might even be a killer himself. Like, who knows? I don't know this guy. Yep. He just said, "Help me," so let's let him in the house. That is what is really annoying. It's really annoying that a dude who has made his fortune on selling security systems let his children have the password to disarm it. It's annoying that while something as important as the purge is happening, they are not in the center control room for their house security where they can watch cameras and see what's going on and monitor everything. They're just kind of hanging out in their house. And it's stupid. The daughter lets her boyfriend in at the very beginning, or like her boyfriend's there, and rather than her daughter like saying, "Hey dad, there is actually another dude in this house with us, is that okay?" She just like lets him try to kill her father at the very beginning. Like, it's very stupid. Everybody in this movie is just, the reason why they're stupid is because there would be no movie if they weren't.
Yep.
But that's only because they tried to go for the house invasion movie, like you said. Where, as you're saying, the Purge 2 Anarchy or whatever is good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So imagine you had that premise, but you were You started out with a poor family who basically are just going to be killed, but they get saved by the Punisher, and then they hang out with the Punisher.
That sounds cool. That sounds way better. Oh man. Oh, also in the Purge. Like, I'm just gonna go kind of spoiler heavy because fuck this movie, you shouldn't watch it anyway. There are guns in the house, and okay, so they finally find this guy that they captured, or not captured, this guy that they let in, they finally capture, and the psychopaths are like, bring him out or whatever, and we'll leave you guys alone. So the dad ties him up, and then they all decide to have a conscience right before like they can actually just save the whole family and say, no, we're actually gonna fight. Like, we're gonna fight these guys off. This is our house. Blah blah blah. We're not gonna kill anybody tonight or whatever. We're just gonna defend our house, sort of thing. Now, if you are in this position, like, this is what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm in this position right now. I untie this dude. Say, listen, I'm super sorry about all of this. Here's a gun. Can you please help us just kill all these motherfuckers and then you can leave? First of all, like, let's get some more, like, able-bodied men in here instead of the kids. Speaking of which, here's a gun, child. Go into the basement, and if anybody opens the door, shoot it. Oh, also, I never trained any of you how to use a firearm. That was irresponsible when I know that in this world, every year there's a night where you can be killed. Like, why is there no firearm training at all in this household for self-defense? There is weapons there. There's weapons in the house that they don't even use. There's like a 6-shooter and a shotgun that get used, but like he has kind of a little arsenal. It's stupid. The kid is a fucking idiot, and in the darkness, he's just like waving around a flashlight trying to hide so he shows where he is.
Great.
The daughter just leaves for a while. She's just like, I'm sorry, and then runs away somewhere in the house, and then doesn't come back until the very end, basically.
Weird.
The killers that get in the house eventually, like the dad or the main dude, Ethan Hawke, is like shooting people, and instead of them like being smart and just like trying to just kill people, they're jumping around and prancing around, like trying to be creepy because it's a movie, when really they should be like probably hiding in the shadows and killing somebody when they come by, instead of like just trying to be like the Manson family or something. Okay, the dad shoots a bunch of dudes in a room, and then instead of thinking, I just made a lot of noise with a gun, there's probably people that know where I am, I'm just going to walk into this dark hallway around this corner where somebody might be hiding. Oh, I got stabbed.
Stabbed. Nice.
And it, like... And then you get into the stuff.
It sounds like a formula movie that then they stuck the premise onto.
It is. And also, let's get down to the context stuff. Their rich white family is the one being harassed in a rich white neighborhood. The whole family is white and bad, probably. Yeah. Or whatever, because they are the evil rich people that made their profits off of the fear of everyone else. And then later on, the people that are trying to kill them are like upper class white people, and the other guy is a war veteran who is also black that they are trying to kill. Like, I don't know, it hits so many stupid nerves in like what they're trying to portray with their context, that there's so many things about it that every time I think about it, I find more stuff that I hated, and I'm just so angry at what they did with it.
Yeah, the second one gets the class stuff pretty right, actually.
Okay, cool. Well, at least there's that, and I got to vent a little bit about The Purge, which I now own on Blu-ray and can watch at any point in my life.
Hooray!
At least I got it for super cheap, so there's that. That's it for me.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? What have you been watching? Tell me
So,
about It Follows.
So It Follows is a really good horror movie. So the premise is basically there's this monster that's invisible to most people,
Except me.
except if you've been, like, I'll just say, cursed with it, and it just follows you. It just slowly walks directly towards you, and it can appear to you as any person, but it has a habit of picking people that you love.
Great.
So it changes its appearance throughout the movie. Like every scene, it's someone different, basically.
Great.
And if it catches you, it violently fucks you to death.
Wait, literally?
Yes.
That's so good.
And it like breaking your bones, your hand, and your leg be cracked over, and it be humping you. There's a scene where this happens.
That's so good. I love it.
Yeah. And the way it gets passed on is by having sex with someone. So if you have sex with someone, then the monster focuses its attention on the person you had sex with instead of you. But if it kills them, it goes back to following you. So the movie starts out with our main girl has sex with a guy, and then he basically chloroforms her, ties her to a wheelchair, and then starts explaining all the rules of this to her, because he needs her to live, even though he's
so is this like a demon then? It's like focused on possession?
It doesn't... one of the things I like about the movie, they never really explain what it is. It just is this thing that follows you.
Okay.
So it could be a ghost. They don't go into it, which they don't need to. So he explains it to her, and then he makes sure she sees it walking towards them. So there's the great thing about it is you always have that nervous tension of this monster is out there walking towards you, but you get these moments of respite where the characters are just trying to relax. So the movie has these peaks and valleys throughout the whole thing where the monster will come and they have to like run away, and then it'll show up again later. But so the characters are sort of becoming exhausted, and it's about like the mental stress of a lot of it.
This sounds like it would make a good video game. There's some good interactability with like other players that could make that fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Possibly. Yeah. So a lot of it is quiet scenes of characters just sitting around, but when the monster shows up, it does the tension right too. Trying to think of other things to say. It's just it's really well done. Like this idea, if the acting wasn't as good, if the directing wasn't as good, it wouldn't really work. Like some of its parts add up to more than because of how good everyone did their job in making it. Like the acting is really good, and that's huge because you're just spending time with these characters, and they're enjoyable to spend time with.
Cool.
It's also cool that like the cast of friends aren't there just as fodder for it to be killed, because the monster is only after her. Like it can interact with other people, but it won't unless like they really go after it. They can't even see it. They're sort of just there for moral support and to try and help, but they're pretty much helpless.
Okay.
So there aren't that many kills in the movie.
That's kind of a relief to hear for a horror movie. Honestly.
Yeah, that was one of the things I thought. I thought it really works that this monster doesn't have a particular look. It always just looks like a normal person. It's everything that makes it scary is what it does. Mm-hmm. The way it moves and the way it kills people.
Yeah.
And it's like single-natured focus. And then it also isn't all about kills. The movie isn't about that. There are a couple there's good kill, but it's not what the movie's about. So it works really well.
Okay.
Did horror correctly. And it does, and it's also like one of the few modern horror movies that isn't referencing any other horror movies directly. Like it's just being its own thing.
Okay, that's cool. That's good, actually.
Yeah.
Because it seems like that's the... I mean, I love Cabin in the Woods. I
Yeah, so do
fucking
I.
adore it.
Movie is great.
That is the easy way to do horror these days. Though.
That's the way it's been. That's the only way it's been. Like that's the way it's been done, really. Other than remakes or really shitty PG-13 movies. They're those two.
Yeah.
Like Ouija.
Yeah. I haven't heard of it. I'm sure it's as terrible.
Based on the board game. The board.
Yeah.
Ouija. Yeah.
I had one of those, actually. You know the creepy way I found it, too? We had one. It was in the field behind my house when I was growing up.
Nice. There was just, I think, one in a house we moved into.
That's even creepier, actually. That is much creepier, I have to say. Also, Electric Dwarf is saying, I haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, no spoilers. You cannot talk about that movie without spoiling it, so that's why I'm not talking about it at all to you. You have to go watch it and see what's so great about it.
Yep.
Yep. So, It Follows sounds like something I would actually love to see. So, I'm happy to hear that that's good.
Yep. I recommend it to anyone who likes methodical horror movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Next movie I saw was not so good. This is Kumiko the Treasure Hunter. So this movie is based on like an urban legend it's not of a story about a Japanese woman being so obsessed with the movie Fargo that she went to Fargo to try and find the money that was buried in the snow and died.
That's kind of adorable.
It's kind of started. I think there was like there may have been a Japanese woman who was found frozen on the lake in Fargo, but that was the story around it. Sort of became this. So people tried to make a movie based around that idea, and it's starring the I forget her name, the woman from Pacific Rim.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Let me look it up here.
Yeah, I should have had this.
From Pacific Rim, Rinko Kikuchi?
Yes, her.
Okay.
Yeah, it's starring her. So what didn't make me hate this movie is that she's really good. Like you're spending most of the movie watching her. She's a really good actress, even though she's playing a crazy person. But the problem with this movie is it wants to be Don Quixote, but it doesn't get there.
Okay.
Like it fucks it up, basically.
How does it fuck it up?
It's hard to describe. It's sort of... It can't be... It tries to straddle the line by showing what a crazy person she is, but it also sort of finds her delightful and wants to see her succeed too much. Like the world she finds isn't cold and callous enough in the second half, the world of Minnesota. So it doesn't work the way Don Quixote needs to work.
Okay.
Basically. Like it fucks it up. It becomes too much. It doesn't have the balls to follow through on its ideas. It's hard to describe.
Okay.
And she's just you're just watching obviously really depressed crazy woman go out into the middle of nowhere and die on a frozen lake. Like
that could
and
be
it's
fun.
trying to be charming and it doesn't really work.
Oh, all right. This doesn't sound like something I would care about at all.
Fair enough.
This movie, like that sounds terrible.
It wasn't good.
Okay.
This goes in the barrel, despite some things I don't hate about it, but it's bad.
Okay. What the hell is this other one?
What We Do in the Shadows. So do you know Flight of the Conchords?
Yes, I do.
So this was written and directed by Jermaine from Flight of the
Oh,
Conchords,
yeah. Okay.
and a director who directed like 4 episodes of the show too, and as in this movie as an actor too. So this
Oh, he
is
did Eagle versus Shark as well. This Taika Waititi or whatever. That movie's not very good. Anyway,
this movie is a lot of fun. It has the same kind of humor, kind of as Flight of the Conchords,
okay.
just with less music. So it's about a bunch of vampires living together in a flat in New Zealand,
Okay.
and just they're all idiots and weird. And it's made as a faux documentary.
Is it like Casper then?
It's not like Casper.
But Casper had the ghosts that were all living in the same house, and they were kind of silly.
Yeah. I liked that movie as a kid. That movie does not hold up at all.
No, it doesn't, unfortunately.
It does not at all.
Wasn't Devon Sawa the human Casper? I gotta look this up. I'm pretty sure he
I
was.
don't remember. I just remember Christina Ricci.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that Dan Aykroyd is in it, dressed up as a Ghostbuster, and says, "Call someone else," and then leaves.
Wait, really?
In one scene? Yeah.
Wow. All right. That's kind of cool, I guess. That's probably the best part of the movie.
He clearly didn't give a shit.
Yeah, Devon
way he
Sawa,
delivers that
Casper on screen. Remember
Cool.
Devon Sawa? He was in
No.
Idle Hands and Final Destination.
Mm.
Idle Hands was okay. It reminds me of the time I had a bad trip on some bad mushrooms. That's a long story. Anyways.
So also the actor who played Murray in Flight of the Conchords shows up in this as a werewolf, which is kind of the best. He's like the alpha werewolf for this pack of werewolves.
Okay.
And there's a scene where they're like, they've been out drinking and partying, and like they meet each other, and they're all posturing, and one of the werewolves curses, and Murray goes, "Hey, we're werewolves, not swearwolves.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Werewolves, not swearwolves."
It's one of these movies. All right. All right.
It's a silly movie. There's also a great scene of where one of the characters who's just become a vampire, he eats a French fry, and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that." And then it cuts to him like vomiting streams of blood
Wait, why?
because he ate regular food that wasn't
Oh.
blood.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
So he's sick now.
I thought maybe
There's-
he had like celiac disease or something.
No.
Okay. Actually, that wouldn't matter. I'm an idiot. Anyway. So is
It's
it
just-
worth seeing then?
Yeah, it was really funny. If you like Flight of the Conchords, I recommend it.
But
It's very
one of the
similar.
things I like about Flight of the Conchords is the music.
Yeah, that's true. If you like the humor in that show.
Yeah, it was fine. I think it was accented by the ridiculous music, though, which is what I really liked about the show.
Yeah,
So,
fair enough.
It sounds interesting, either way. It sounds like a good time, if nothing else.
Yes.
Also,
I had a lot of fun with it. It was good
it
comedy.
is categorized on IMDb as comedy and horror. Is it horrifying?
No, I mean there's like a lot of blood.
Oh, okay.
They do kill people and stuff.
So maybe dark comedy? No, dark comedy is
Yeah.
actually kind of a different genre.
It's not really a dark comedy either.
Yeah. Okay.
But like there's a scene where a vampire who's really neat like bites into a woman and accidentally hits an artery, and there's a stream of blood going everywhere. And he's like covered in blood, and he's like, "Man." Also, there's a great thing about why they prefer virgin blood. There's just like, because it sounds cool. It's like, if you're eating a sandwich, wouldn't you really like to know that no one had fucked it first?
That's a good point, actually. And now I'm always going to wonder every time I eat a sandwich. So,
Yeah. So it was funny. It succeeded at being funny, which was what it was trying to do.
Tweed Kitten, my favorite dark comedy, The Room.
Oh man, I found out. They made more episodes of Tommy Wiseau's The Neighbors.
Oh my god.
I'm going to
What?
watch those at some point.
Are they somewhere I can watch them?
They're on Hulu, so I don't know.
So no. Okay. Fuck. Maybe a torrent or something.
There might be a torrent out there. That seems like a thing that could exist.
I have to see it. I bet it's so bad.
I can't believe they made more episodes. Oh my god.
How many episodes are there?
They're like 5 or 6 or something.
What?
I'm not sure.
That's so
Something
many.
like that. Something like that.
Who's giving him this opportunity to do anything he wants?
I mean, the production values of The Neighbors are way lower than The Rooms.
Wait, what? It's lower?
Yes. Look, these are objectively worse. This TV show is objectively worse than The Room.
What?
Just is.
Man. All right. Oh shit, son. A friend of mine started watching it, still isn't sure if it's serious. I think that's kind of what we talked about the last time we talked about this, is that there's this weird, like, accidental brilliance where he totally is 100% serious, but he's cashing in on the fact that people think he's a joke at the same time.
But, like, he thinks he's self-aware, and he's not even.
Yeah, like, he thinks he's serious about what he's doing, and he thinks he knows what, like, is making people like his stuff, but he's totally wrong. Like, totally wrong.
Yeah.
It's amazing. He is an enigma of a human being. Like,
Yeah.
That guy should be given a platform in every medium. He should be having a video game. He should be having a book, a magazine, a weekly newspaper. Like, you should give him just everything, because he will make everything so much better by being so much worse than everything else out there. What a guy.
It's pretty great.
What a fucking guy.
What a guy.
Yeah.
So this next movie, my parents were watching it, and I only caught the end of it, but I still wanted to talk about it. It's called Ironclad.
Okay.
It's about...
Oh, you mean Iron Man.
No.
Robert Downey Jr. It's a great
So the
flick.
best part of this movie is that it has Paul Giamatti playing King John, and he gets to go fucking crazy, and he has great yelling speeches about how he's like the hand of God.
I could see that being great. Paul Giamatti doesn't have enough roles where he can say stuff like, I am the hand of God. So
Also has great... It's about sort of this small group of knights that are holding this tower to, like, keep King John from sort of taking back over after he's signed the Magna Carta and now sort of decided he's like rethought it and wants to take over England again, basically. So it's sort of like the Alamo or 300 in that it's a small group fighting a giant army.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a great scene of a character, King John, torturing a guy, cuts off one of his hands, then cuts off the other hand, then cuts off his feet, then trebuchets the guy at the castle.
Wow.
And it's really bloody and it's dirty. Also, like, the hero uses this giant sword that he literally uses to cut people in half down the middle.
Holy shit, Kate Mara's in this.
Kate Mara is in it.
Okay, I'm going to watch this tomorrow. I'll find a copy somewhere. I will do my diligence.
This is a fun movie.
It looks... Yeah. You know, I'm looking at screenshots of it right now. It reminds me of In the Name of the King, which is great and terrible at the same time, and I'm totally into this idea. Because Paul Giamatti is better than everybody in...
Yeah, Paul Giamatti does a great job.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets so pissed.
I like that guy a lot. Sideways is a great movie. It's a great flick. Yeah.
I really like American Splendor.
I don't think I ever saw that, actually. Was it pretty good?
That's a really good movie.
Really? I'm just going to see what else Paul Giamatti has been in that I probably forgot. He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's in
The
The Negotiator.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's like a minor character in The Negotiator with Samuel L. Jackson and Kevin Spacey.
Man, I haven't seen that in a long time.
I really like that movie.
Is that... No, never mind. The one I was going to say was John Q. The one with his kid eating bone marrow.
No. This is...
The rogue negotiator.
Well, he's not really that rogue. It's more about, like, Samuel L. Jackson has been framed, and he's holding these people hostage in an office building. That stuff.
I don't know why I got that and John Q mixed up. It's probably my racism. Denzel Washington's fantastic, though. I was thinking about it, and I fucking hate Wesley Snipes. like, the best things Wesley Snipes has done is basically Passenger 57, and some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. That line in Blade.
White Man Can't Jump, though.
That movie's terrible. That movie's terrible, and not in a way that makes it entertaining for me. I didn't find it entertaining. I was just like, ugh, the whole time.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Remember when Wesley Snipes actually had like a really good career? Boy, those were probably the days for him. Now he's in jail. Eat it, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill. That's the one good thing he's ever done. Also, Passenger 57's okay.
I remember liking Blade at the time. But that was a long time ago.
Yeah, no, Blade is quite good. Blade 2 is not as good, but it's still good in its own weird way. Because that turns from... Blade 1 is just like kind of a Matrix vampire movie, which is totally fine. Blade 2 is kind of like a monster movie, which is weird, like a zombie movie. So... I don't know. And Blade 3 has Ryan Reynolds, so I hate it. I don't like Ryan Reynolds, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds.
Apparently he is going to be Deadpool.
Yeah. You always said Daredevil too.
Nope. That's going to be someone else.
He already was, though, technically.
It's true.
Twice? Right. Wasn't he voice actor for Deadpool in one of the games, too?
He might have been. I don't know.
What a piece of shit. I don't know what it is about that guy. I feel like he was in something that I really enjoyed him in, and I can't remember what now. That's kind of irritating. Oh, right, Green Lantern.
He was in some romantic comedy I liked okay.
Which one? Amityville Horror, the remake?
No.
It must have been that one. He wasn't in anything else. Oh, yeah, Just Friends, probably?
Doesn't sound right either.
Okay. Well, Adventureland he was in as well. He's just a douchebag, like, secondary character kind of in Adventureland, though. That was more about Jesse Eisenberg and Bella. I can't remember her name.
It was definitely Maybe. I like that okay.
I don't even know what that is, but it sounds fantastic. Oh, this looks terrible. Ryan Reynolds is in it. Yeah. Anyways. So is that it for movies?
He was in Wild and Kumar Go to White Castle? What?
Oh, dude, yeah. He's the doctor that they run into. That, like, he makes them do surgery. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Do you want to talk about this anime?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Wolf Children.
Is it great?
It's called. It's pretty good. So it's by a director I really like.
Okay.
Who actually directed some Digimon stuff.
Okay.
That's where I first knew him from. He directed the pilot for it and a particular episode that sort of references the pilot. And he also directed the second Digimon movie. So he made a full-length actual film that was secretly a remake of the second Digimon movie that got critical acclaim too, which is hilarious. It's called Summer Wars.
Oh, okay.
It's really good. And he also directed the other movie he made before that, which I also really liked, was called The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. Just a story about a girl who gets the power to travel back in time slightly.
Oh, Life is Strange. Yeah, that's a great game.
Yeah. And the way she does it, though, is she has to, like, tumble So they're great scenes of her like jumping and then like rolling into stuff because that's how she travels through time.
Okay. I could see if you were in confined space that traveling through time might be hard. Like a closet. It would be hard to travel back in time by tumbling if you were stuck in a closet.
Yep. That'd be hard.
That's why Tom Cruise never could do it. Ah, got you.
Great. Great.
Yeah.
So this movie starts out with like a woman starts noticing a guy in her class that doesn't have any books, and she like follows him, says he hasn't turned in his attendance slip, and he's like, I'm not actually a student. I'm actually a student here, just sitting in on classes. So then she finds out, she starts basically dating him eventually, and then he tells her that he's actually a werewolf.
Okay.
And then they sleep together.
Yeah,
and
as
they
you're
have
one
kids.
to do when someone says they're a werewolf.
Yeah, they have kids and they get married, and then there's a storm and he goes out as a werewolf and dies. And she finds out he's dead while she's runs out with like her kids strapped to her. They're still really young, and she sees this wolf body being dragged out of the lake by garbage men, and he gets put into a garbage bag, thrown into the back of a dumpster, and taken away.
I mean, what else are you going to do with a werewolf? It's too big to flush.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then the rest of the movie is sort of about her raising these two kids up to like high school age, and it's sort of slowly is moving forward, and she eventually has to move out of the city. She moves to like the countryside and has to start becoming a farmer. And it's very slow paced, and because her kids are like, based on their emotions, are always transforming back and forth between looking human and being like wolves. So she has a lot of trouble like how she can hide them and not have people like freak out about these wolf kids running around. It's very charming. It's like slow paced and methodical, and it's like coming of age stuff.
Okay. Tweak it and saying I expected wolf children to have more feels, but I found it frustrating to watch.
Fair enough.
Can you see why that would be?
I mean, if you were looking for feels, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Like it's much more about like one of the kids decides to grow up to be a human as a teenager, and one of them decides to become a wolf, kind of thing.
Why not both? Human in the streets, wolf in the sheets. Is what I always say. It's my life motto. It's getting too late. My brain is starting to shut off or get turned on, if you know what I mean. No idea. I have no idea what you mean, actually.
Yeah. I don't like. I didn't like it as much as his other movies, I don't think. Like Summer Wars, I freaking love. Girl Who Lived Through Time has a major problem where you're supposed to believe that this one painting in it is like the greatest painting and why this character traveled back in time. Mm-hmm. And then they show the painting and you're like, oh, why did you show the painting? This is terrible. Why would anyone travel through time to see this? This doesn't make any sense now. You're stretching my disbelief. God damn it.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was really good.
Cool. Have you ever seen Samurai Pizza Cats?
Samurai Pizza Cats is great.
Yes. I didn't know that they released a DVD collection of it 2 years ago. So when I found out, I actually like screamed in the call I was in and ordered it immediately. And on the same site, I also ordered the Mega Man collection for like Super Fighting Robot Mega Man, the anime or cartoon, whatever. I'm so excited to watch Samurai Pizza Cats again. That stuff is the shit.
Just make up a whole new dialogue for this animation we happen to have.
Yeah, it's so good. I almost bought the Japanese version as well, but I didn't. Because it got really expensive. Yeah. I'm super stoked to watch Samurai Pizza Cats again. Also, I was meaning to ask you, and I completely forgot the name of it, so hold on while I try to figure it out again. And by figure it out, I mean, you know, yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. There was an anime. I don't know if it's a movie or a series or something. A DVD I found on this site here, and I was wondering about it. And I'm kind of stalling for time, which is why I'm feeling dead air with my voice right now as I scroll through this and not thinking about what I'm saying. Where the fuck is it? It was seriously right here. It was something zombie, and I was just like, I wonder if he knows about that. Zombie Loan.
Oh, yeah. Zombie Loan.
So you do know about it? I don't know what it is at all. It just sounded like a title for something I might be interested in because I don't understand what it could be in reference to. Also, it's a collection, so I guess it's a show.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember if this is the show I'm thinking about. It might not be. But I feel like I remember it, like, it... Do you know... Does it say how many episodes it is?
310 minutes, 2007 release. Release date for this DVD collection was 2014. I can tell you about it here. 13 episodes, actually. TV series.
Yeah, because I think it was a thing where it was... Yeah, okay. This is what I'm thinking of. The problem with that anime is that it exists basically to sell you on the manga. It doesn't tell a complete story. It just sort of ends because it's like, and now read the manga if you want to know more. It exists just to sell the manga, and the manga isn't very good. The show was okay.
Okay. Well,
but it has that distinct problem.
That's disappointing. Have you ever heard of Oh, My Zombie Mermaid?
Nope.
Yeah, me neither. But that is totally a DVD you can buy from discotechmedia.com, where I bought the Mega Man Ruby Spears cartoon and Samurai Pizza Cats. Yeah. It is called Oh, My Zombie Mermaid. And it has a zombie mermaid on the cover.
Seems accurate then, I guess, maybe.
Yeah. I almost bought it because it's only $15 and I was paying shipping for the other shit anyway, just to see what it was. But then I realized that's $15 American, so that is like $115 Canadian. So there's that.
You could spend that money on a Heroes of the Storm skin.
$115? Or like a dining room table. Yeah. Yeah, so I have nothing else to talk about with anime. I was just stoked. Enough. And you've been reading some comics, as you do?
Yup.
Okay. Anything good?
Yeah. So, both of these on here are good, but this one, or at X-23, Target X, which is like the second miniseries specifically about this character, X-23, who is the female clone of Wolverine, created in the Weapon program.
Okay.
So it's like the first volume is super depressing. Super depressing.
Good. That's what I want in my life. And
she is raised to be a weapon and is trained to go berserk whenever she gets this particular scent, which leads to her killing the only two people who love her.
Does she go snick snick?
Yeah, she does have... They do give her adamantium claws.
Yes! Okay. I'm in.
Like, they torture her a lot.
Yes! I'm in. Oh, wait, that's not good.
Like, the first volume ends with her killing her mother right before they escape.
Oh, that's depressing. Great.
Yeah. So this one picks up where that one left off, and then she's sort of living with her mother's family, and like going to high school and trying to sort of live until she sort of gets tracked down again. And it's set around she's being interrogated by Captain America and Matt Murdock to like find out what happened at this situation. And this one is not as depressing as the first volume. Like this one, things work out a little better.
Okay.
But this is It's also weird to me that the character of X-23 originated from the cartoon X-Men Evolution. Like,
Huh.
I didn't watch that show really, so I don't actually know what her origin was like there. It's just sort of weird to me that's where this character came out, and like everything about her life in comics has been so dark and miserable. But she's a character I really enjoy. She's on that in that all new X-Men book now that I was talking about.
Oh
She's been
yeah,
hanging out with those guys.
just
That's where
chilling.
she is right now. She's been dating the original Angel.
Okay. Cool.
It's better than where she'd been, which had been on a secret assassination team for a while. She was on X-Force.
Angel.
Yeah. But this is good. It's written by Craig Kyle and Kyle Yost, who are a writing team that have written a lot of X stuff and a lot of stuff I really like. And Kyle Yost has written a lot of other stuff I really like Red Robin and Scarlet Spider. They're both really good series.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So the other thing is something I've read before, which is it was the webcomic Rice Boy, which ran from like 2006 to 2008, but I just picked up a book collection of it. And it was one of like the first webcomics I read that tried to tell an overarching story and was really well written and it had really good art. This is a really good webcomic that I recommend highly. Sort of like a hero's journey story,
Okay. That sounds cool.
and it's got a lot of colorful character designs and stuff.
Rice
And it's got
boy, huh?
Yeah.
Worth
So and
checking out then.
that's a free webcomic anyone can read too. So
Oh,
I recommend it. And the guy, after he finished Rice Boy, he's done some other webcomics set in sort of the same world during different like eras of time, because there are some characters in it who have been alive for like centuries. So, like the one electronic, which is a robot with like a TV head.
I know about some robots with TV heads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like there have been a lot of things with that since Fooly Cooly. I feel like that influenced a lot of people. But yeah,
Cool.
that was good. That's all the comics I have to talk about this time.
Cool. Do you remember? Did you watch? Oh, I can't remember what they were called. They were like a mini series that Blizzard did for Warlords of Draenor coming out that showed like the backstory of the Warlords of Draenor.
No, I didn't watch that.
There's a couple episodes. Do you know Durotan's backstory?
I mean, I've read it on wikis. I'm not remembering it off the top of my head.
That mini thing is really depressing, like, because it basically shows like, so he was part of what was he? He was Frostwolf, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Frostwolf clan who, like, he grew up with his pet dog or whatever, his pet wolf, his Frostwolf probably.
Yeah.
And their clan was like they tried to keep their temper kind of in check or whatever. So they were a little more civilized and like were rational and stuff. And basically like he grew up and there was like a thing where his mother was dying and he was like trying to save her or whatever. So he let like his like berserker blood or whatever get the better of him when they were being attacked by some dire wolves and just like fucking killed everything around him, including his pet dog. And it's the most fucking depressing thing ever. It's so bad. And that's why he wears like his wolf as like his cloak or whatever. It's like I could never look at that character again. He broke my heart. Like, that's so terrible. But yeah. I don't know why I brought that up. I think it's because you were talking about, like, she killed her mom at the, like, final thing or whatever in the comic book. It's just, like, it just reminded me of that. Just that whole, like, going crazy and then killing something close or someone close to you. It's fucking brutal. It's bad
I think
shit.
that's a story about Hercules where he gets cursed to go crazy and ends up killing his wife and kids.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Hercules was a crazy mofo. He had some great adventures with his centaur in the old cartoon. His centaur buddy. Herc. Terrible. What a
I
terrible
just remember
cartoon.
there's an episode of Andromeda where Kevin Sorbo opens up like a panel in the ship and pulls out a wig and a sword.
Oh, no.
He's like, what's this?
Oh. Well, on that note,
That was a great note.
yeah, I think that does it for this week either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I feel good about that one. We talked a lot about some weird shit and some... Actually, there weren't a lot of problems this week, except the Purge. The Purge was fucking terrible. And I'm still angry that I own it, because it's just taunting me. I can see it from here. It's on the shelf right there. And the stupid face is just looking at me, taunting me. So, yeah. Anyways, this has been The Burning Barrel. We'll come back another time. See you guys then.
Bye.
Bye.